when Archangel Michael appears, when you need him most, when you miss the signs. Have you felt a sudden warmth, a feather or a whisper? These are not coincidences. Learn the undeniable signs he's near and actively protecting you. You'll be amazed too. It doesn't happen with lightning. It doesn't always come with thunder. When Archangel Michael appears, it's rarely in the way most expect. He does not always descend in dramatic splendor. Sometimes he arrives in silence, in stillness, in the hush before the dawn breaks. His presence, unmistakable to the spirit, yet so easily missed by the distracted heart, reveals a divine intervention precisely timed by heaven itself. And when he appears, it is never random. It is never accidental. It is ordained. Heaven does not send its chief warrior angel without cause. There are moments when your soul cries out, not with words, but with spiritual groanings that even your conscious mind cannot fully articulate. In those moments, when your spirit feels both fragile and fierce, the heavens move. In those moments, when your back is against the wall, when your prayers seem buried under silence, when you're not even sure you're being heard, that is when he comes. Not because you called, but because heaven decided it was time. And yet many miss him. Many overlook the visitation because they are waiting for a miracle to roar. But Archangel Michael often walks into your life with a whisper, not a whirlwind. You expected a shaking, but he came as peace. You looked for signs in the sky, but he left feathers on your path. You sought a voice out loud, but he stirred your chest with a sudden, inexplicable warmth. You assumed you'd see a vision, but instead, your heart calmed in the center of chaos, and that, dear soul, was him. A white feather when the skies are gray. A gentle breeze that stops you mid-thought. A stillness that floods your room while you're breaking. These are not coincidences. These are divine signals, the footprints of Michael's passage. But this message is not for everyone. It is not for the casual scroller or the curious bystander. It is for the spiritually sensitive, for the weary intercessor, for the one who has sensed the invisible war and knows they are not crazy. This message is for those who have been standing in invisible fire, fighting wars no one sees, crying out without sound. If your soul has been unsettled, if you've felt unseen hands trying to silence you, if you've been sensing spiritual warfare pressing at your life, your mind, your sleep, this is your confirmation. And if you felt that invisible shield around you lately, that moment where you should have broken but didn't, then hear this. Michael is already near. Type "I receive this" in the comments if this message stirred your spirit. Blessing code 777 is now encamped around you. Let this invocation not be a ritual, but a divine summons. Let it awaken the heavens. Let it charge the atmosphere. Let it tear open the veil that separates the seen from the unseen. As this message is spoken, may the holy wind begin to stir around you. May your space become a sanctuary of divine alignment, for Michael is not sent where he is not needed. And beloved, you are needed. Your destiny is needed. Your protection is needed. Your survival matters to the kingdom. Hear this with urgency. Before the next sunrise, some of you will feel the shift. Some of you will wake up and know, without a doubt, that something changed while you were sleeping. The air will feel charged. The shadows will seem weaker. Your steps will suddenly feel guarded. That is no accident. That is no emotional surge. That is divine presence, a heavenly warrior stepping into your atmosphere. And he does not come alone. There is a tension in the heavens, not of conflict, but of response. For heaven does not sit idle while darkness plots. The Lord of hosts does not delay when a soul under assignment is under siege. When you cried in secret, "God, I can't do this anymore," that cry became a call. That groan became a summoning. And Michael was dispatched. Not with delay, not with uncertainty, but with precision. He comes with wings of flame, not symbolic, but spiritual. He moves faster than the enemy's lies, and he slices through confusion with a sword that was forged in truth. His eyes are not just light, they are judgment, verity, piercing vision that sees what you cannot see and defends what you did not know was under attack. He carries not just protection, but strategy, for Michael does not only guard, he aligns. He repositions. He clears the path ahead. And for some of you, he's already here. You didn't recognize him, but you felt him. That sudden calm when your mind was about to spiral. That moment of silence in your room, where you suddenly felt safe. That unexplainable energy that made you sit still, breathe deeply, and whisper, "Something's watching over me." It was not your imagination. It was divine. It was Michael. You see, this message is not for the masses. This message is not viral. This message is surgical, sent for the few who are carrying divine weight, for those who are called but feeling crushed, for those who are trying to stand while hell tries to cut their legs out from under them. This is for those whose warfare has intensified and who have said, "I don't know how much more I can take." It's for the ones who carry light in dark places, who bear burdens silently, who are attacked not because of weakness but because of divine potential. Michael's presence interrupts the pattern. It disarms the spirit of despair. It calms the surge of confusion. When he enters, the atmosphere changes. It becomes electrified with peace. That is not a contradiction. It is the nature of heaven's defense, to bring both stillness and strength. So I say this to you, if you felt like giving up, it's because something holy is arriving. If you felt watched lately, it's because you are. If you felt strangely protected in the middle of chaos, it's because Michael has already stationed himself beside you. You are not waiting for hell. You are already under the gaze of the one heaven trusts to guard God's chosen. Type "I am guarded" in the comments if you believe Michael is near. Lesson code 444 is now surrounding you. You felt it, didn't you? The atmosphere shifted before the evidence ever showed up. Something in your spirit stirred, not out of fear, but out of alertness. You walked into that room and suddenly felt watched. The tone in conversations changed. People you once trusted began to grow silent, or worse, cold. You started sensing something was off, but couldn't find the words to explain it. It wasn't paranoia, it was perception. A holy awareness that you were walking through something more than just life's chaos. You were walking into divine interference. You were stepping into the terrain where Archangel Michael had been summoned, not just to observe, but to intervene. In moments like these, logic fails. The emotional confusion intensifies. One moment, you feel abandoned. The next, you're calm without reason. You're crying and laughing in the same hour. You're remembering old wounds, facing new betrayals, and trying to discern what is spiritual and what is circumstantial. But hear me, this is not insanity. This is spiritual disruption. This is what happens when the divine begins to interrupt the enemy's schemes before they fully manifest. This is what happens when heaven answers with power before earth catches up with understanding. You felt the energy shift, didn't you? That uneasy feeling, the strange dreams, the lingering exhaustion that can't be explained by your schedule. It's all part of the evidence. Michael is not only present when swords clash, He arrives long before the first blow is struck. He moves in preparation. He moves in divine disruption. He enters with heaven's mandate and begins to rewire what was supposed to take you out. You may not have seen his wings, but you felt his wake. You may not have heard his voice, but the moment you stopped weeping and peace filled your chest, that was him. And in this mystery, you're not alone. There are watchers, those spiritually sensitive around you who can't explain what they see, but they know something's happening. People are watching you with eyes that know more than their words. They feel the difference. They don't know what shifted, but something has. You're no longer just a person walking through trials. You're someone carrying divine fire. You're marked by something holy, and the atmosphere knows it. The spirit realm knows it. That's why the warfare rose, but that's also why Michael was released. This sudden disruption in your emotions, this surge of questions, it's not a sign of your weakness. It's a sign of your transformation. You're not falling apart. You're being rebuilt. You're not unraveling. You're being reordered by heaven itself. That stillness you felt after screaming into your pillow, that wasn't just exhaustion. It was intersection. A holy warrior stepped into your dimension and said, "Enough." And from that moment, things began to shift, not on the outside, but in your inner world. Yes, they noticed it. The people who knew the old version of you, they see that something's different now. They don't have the vocabulary for it, but their spirit senses it. Heaven intervened. Something divine walked through the storm and chose you to defend. So when they whisper behind your back, when they look at you like they're trying to figure out what changed, remember this: they know something changed, but only heaven knows who sent the warrior. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you feel this word belongs to you. Blessing code 1122 has been activated over your life. If this word stirred your spirit, you're not just watching a message, you're standing in a moment of divine alignment. When you support this mission, you're not giving to a channel, you're sowing into souls. Every seed you plant helps carry God's word into places where light is desperately needed. This isn't just a video, it's a battlefield of truth, and your giving becomes oil for the fire and manna for those in need. As it is written, he who refreshes others will himself be refreshed. When I ask, it's not for me. It's heaven prompting someone to move in faith. If this message confirms what you've been sensing, don't just receive, respond. Your gift declares, I stand with the mission of light. Blessings are released through obedience. Super thanks, membership, or PayPal. Links are in the description. Activate your harvest. Move now. You thought it was just a rough season. You thought it was just emotional turbulence or another cycle of disappointment. But let this message pierce through the fog. You have not been in a natural struggle. You've been in a spiritual war. And this war is not about your past. It's not even about your present. It's about your future, your calling, your voice, your mantle, and the enemy has known it before you did. That is why the opposition hath been relentless. That is why the pressure feels unbearable. That is why confusion keeps knocking and peace has been hunted. Because what you carry is not common. What you're birthing cannot be allowed to rise unless it is protected by the divine. But here's the truth most don't see. The chaos has not been proof of your failure. It has been confirmation of your alignment. Heaven has not turned its face away from you. Heaven has marked you for preservation. And that's why Archangel Michael was dispatched. Not as a luxury, not as a comfort, but as a necessity. For your destiny carries too much weight to be left unguarded. Michael's assignment is not to make life easier. It is to keep your divine purpose intact under siege. He is not the angel of convenience. He is the angel of conflict, sent to the front lines when what heaven has ordained is being illegally challenged. And you, chosen one, have been under surveillance. You have been watched by the throne, not in judgment but in protection. Every tear, every groan, every silent prayer hath been seen. And when the pressure crossed the invisible boundary of heaven's permission, Michael was sent. You were not being destroyed. You were being defended. What looked like the breakdown of your life was actually a barricade being built around your spirit. A delay, divine strategy, a rejection, divine redirection, a season of silence, heaven's preparation chamber. You weren't left alone. You were being shielded. And in that hiddenness, Michael was already on watch, drawing a line the enemy could not cross. Understand this, heaven does not waste warriors. You don't call Michael casually. He is not sent where destiny is shallow. His presence alone is confirmation that your calling is critical. And so the battles you faced are not punishments. They are proof. Proof that hell saw what heaven has placed on your life. Proof that your obedience has stirred opposition. Proof that your existence threatens darkness. And yet, despite it all, you are still standing. Michael is proof that you are not abandoned. He is proof that your prayers have weight. He is the evidence that heaven not only hears, it responds. Your life hath been preserved not because of luck, not because of coincidence, but because God intervened. That spiritual exhaustion you felt, it was not because you were weak. It was because you've been in battle, and battle leaves a mark. But now you know. You know that the weapons formed against you did not prosper because a holy warrior stood in the invisible realm, drawing swords while you cried. You know now that you weren't being punished, you were being positioned. And though the testing was severe, your survival was supernatural. So take heart. Reframe the pain. Reclaim the narrative. This is not the end. This is the midpoint of a divine mission. You are not broken. You are battle-formed. You are not forsaken. You are fortified. And the fact that you're still breathing, still watching, still believing, that alone means the enemy failed. Because when heaven saw the pressure rising, it did not wait for you to beg. It did not wait for you to understand. It simply said, "Send Michael." Type "I am covered" in the comments if you receive this word. Blessing code 888 has now encircled your life. There are moments in the spirit realm when the ground begins to tremble before the world above feels it. You are living in one of those moments now. The tension you've been sensing, that strange unease, the inability to rest, the subtle agitation in your relationships, it's not random. It's the atmosphere responding to an approaching confrontation. The battle is not beginning, it's escalating. And the heavens are no longer silent. Within the next 72 hours, for many who are reading this, there will be a divine revelation, a moment of sharp clarity, not to frighten you, but to position you. You sensed it, haven't you? The smiles that suddenly felt forced. The people who once poured into you now feel distant. The tone in the room changes when you walk in. Something behind the scenes is being stirred. Something invisible is nearing exposure. And the reason you can feel it so intensely is because Michael is already moving. He is not waiting for the attack to reach you. He is already intercepting what was meant to blindside you. Listen closely. This is not a time to panic, but it is a time to be alert. There are conversations you weren't meant to hear, but heaven did. There are intentions wrapped in kindness that are rooted in jealousy. There are spiritual forces using familiar faces to cause confusion, derail focus, and plant seeds of doubt in your heart. And though it may feel like coincidence, it is not. It is warfare disguised as routine. And that's why Michael was sent ahead of you, to expose, to dismantle, to shield. This is the warring before the shift, a divine foretelling. Some of the delays you've experienced were not setbacks. They were divine pauses, buying time for heaven to realign the path ahead. Some of the doors that didn't open were not rejections. They were shields, closing off roads that would have led you into traps dressed as blessings. And now, the Spirit of God is raising the alarm. Prepare for exposure. Prepare for clarity. Prepare for a sudden shift that will reveal what you were never meant to carry forward. You will soon understand why you had to walk alone in some seasons. You will soon realize why certain people's access to you had to be cut off. Michael has been standing between you and unseen plots. Heaven saw the words spoken behind your back, the jealousy masked as concern, the hands that once helped but now hesitate. And instead of letting it break you, God commanded Michael to bring revelation and protection. There is a holy fire rising, and it will cleanse the space around you. What you're about to witness is not just people changing. It is truth rising. Hidden motives will come to light. False alliances will be exposed. Those who secretly oppose you will be forced to reveal themselves. But don't let this intimidate you. Let it empower you. For when God allows the shaking, it's only because He's ready to reveal the secure. The counterfeit must fall so that the authentic can remain. Some of the signs have already started. Strange dreams, heightened intuition, relationships suddenly drifting. These are not random. These are heaven's coded warnings. This is Michael's way of clearing the battlefield before the next stage of your destiny unfolds. Every whisper in your spirit that says, "Be still," or "Don't trust that connection," or "Something's not right here," take it seriously. This is not paranoia. This is spiritual intelligence. This is divine alertness. And when the light finally comes, when the exposure hits, and when truth rises like the morning sun, every hidden hand will tremble, and every force that stood against you will regret touching what heaven had already claimed. Pipe, I am protected by light in the comments if this warning confirms what you sensed. Blessing code 1441 is moving before you now. Be still. Yes, be still. The temptation right now will be to act, to speak, to retaliate, to confront. But heaven is whispering to you, stand down. I'm stepping in. This is the holy strategy in seasons when war surrounds you, but you are called to remain unshaken. Archangel Michael does not fight in noise. He fights in sacred stillness. When the earth shakes, he moves with divine command. And when your spirit quiets itself before God, Michael draws his sword on your behalf. Stillness is not passivity. It is power. It is surrender with precision. It is your way of declaring, the battle is not mine. It belongs to the Lord. And this declaration, when spoken from a yielded heart, becomes your strongest armor. Do not misread the silence as absence. The quiet is not the void. It is the echo of wings unfolding over your hope. It is the holy breath before the strike. When you are still, Michael is not standing idle. He is circling. He is circling your family. He is circling your thoughts. He is circling the contract you haven't signed yet, the phone call you're about to make, the decision that's hanging in the balance. While you are tempted to fix it yourself, heaven is whispering, let me handle what your strength cannot. And in that letting go, you do not become weaker. You become covered. You become sealed. You become shielded in flame and light. So pause. Light a candle in your home, not as a ritual, but as a symbol of awareness. Whisper a prayer, not because God needs volume, but because your heart needs alignment. Speak softly in your room and listen, not for thunder, but for the whisper of wings. Watch closely, not with suspicion, but with spiritual attentiveness. These are holy days. These are days when you are not just surviving. You are being guarded by heaven's highest-ranking warrior. When you lay down to rest, speak this: "No weapon formed against me shall prosper, for I am hidden under the command of the Most High." Say it out loud, not for others, but for the spirit realm to hear. For when you declare God's word, you ignite the angelic. And Michael, sword in hand, does not resist a voice of truth. He responds to it. In these next few days, you may begin to notice more signs than usual. A white feather on a dirty street, a sudden warmth brushing across your skin when no window is open, flickers of blue or white light out of the corner of your eye. Do not dismiss these as imagination. These are the echoes of protection, visible traces left behind by one who moved between dimensions to defend you. If your room suddenly feels peaceful after hours of tension, Michael was there. If a conversation suddenly shifts from hostility to calm, you've just witnessed angelic interception. If a door shuts in your face, and somehow your spirit doesn't panic, it's because Michael blocked what would have derailed you. You are not alone. You are not unguarded. And you are not uncovered. God has given charge to his angels concerning you. That's not poetry. That's a legal decree in the courts of heaven. And Michael leads that charge, not just with strength, but with precision. He knows your blueprint. He knows the timing of your breakthrough. And he knows how to guard you until the hour of release. To rest. Speak truth. Light your space with reverence. Walk in holy silence, and move only when heaven moves. Because when you are still, Michael fights. Type "I choose stillness" in the comments if you are ready to let heaven lead. Blessing code 3030 has been activated to surround your rest with fire and light. There comes a point, after the trembling, after the silence, after the storm, when you begin to feel it. Not just the absence of chaos, but the arrival of clarity. Not just survival, but awakening. This is that moment. This is the shift. The hour when you rise from the ashes, not as a victim of circumstance, but as a vessel of fire. You're not who you were before Archangel Michael appeared. The presence of heaven's defender does not leave you unchained. His nearness reconfigures your spirit. His assignment activates your authority. And now, you are different. You don't respond like you used to. What used to trigger you now makes you pause and discern. What used to shake you now stirs up strength. That's because Michael didn't just come to fight for you. He came to ignite what's been buried within you. Courage is awakening. Discernment is sharpening. Fear is being evicted. You are no longer reacting to life. You are commanding your space. You are no longer stumbling through darkness. You are carrying light. When Archangel Michael surrounds you, there is a spiritual rewiring. It's not emotional hype. It's not positive thinking. It's divine fire, refining you from within. The fear that once paralyzed you now bows to the boldness that's been activated. The confusion that clouded your path now trembles before your clarity. You are being transformed, not slowly, not subtly, but supernaturally. Can you feel it? The shift in your atmosphere isn't just around you, it's in you. You walk differently now. You speak with more authority. You feel what others can't feel, and you move with weight in the spirit. That's not arrogance, that's evidence. Evidence that you have been visited by one of God's greatest protectors. Evidence that you didn't just survive the warfare, you were commissioned by it. This is why the old version of you had to break. This is why certain friendships fell apart. Why the doors closed. Why your emotions couldn't stabilize. Because heaven wasn't just saving you, it was sanctifying you. And Michael's presence was the announcement. This one is marked for more. You are no longer prey to darkness. You are a bearer of flame. Your silence carries thunder. Your stillness holds weight. Your prayers now echo louder. You don't chase validation anymore because you now know you are validated by heaven itself. The pain purified you. The process positioned you. The presence of Michael prepared you. And now, you must rise. Not timidly but boldly. Not with hesitation, but with holy confidence. You are covered. You are chosen. You are called. You don't need everyone to understand, because heaven has already approved. Michael does not linger around the average. He is sent to the anointed, the endangered, and the empowered. And now that he have been near, you cannot return to who you were. The fire in your spirit is not just survival, it's commissioning. The whispers you hear in prayer are not just comfort, they are strategy. The weight you feel when you enter a room is not anxiety, it's authority. Walk in it. Declare it. Guard it. You were never abandoned. You were being armed. Every spiritual scar is now a badge of purpose. Every sleepless night was a divine classroom. Every unexplainable shift was a sign that you were moving from brokenness to boldness. This is your moment. Not to hide, but to shine. Not to defend your pain, but to step into your power. Because now, you are no longer just defended by Michael. You are standing in the strength he was sent to awaken. Type "I am arising" in the comments if you feel this transformation in your spirit. Blessing code 5151 is now igniting your inner fire. Hear this clearly now, because this is not just encouragement, it is divine explanation. You've been wondering why the intensity has increased, why the silence from heaven lasted longer than expected, why the people you counted on began to fall away, and the road in front of you seemed to vanish beneath your feet. The truth is what you've walked through recently was in punishment. It wasn't rejection. It wasn't even delay. It was placement. It was preparation. It was the positioning required for what heaven is about to place into your hands. And the arrival of Archangel Michael into your life is prophetic confirmation that something is shifting permanently. You see, Michael's appearance is not ordinary. He doesn't come unless something in the spiritual realm has shifted beyond human control. He is a signpost that heaven has intervened. When Michael is dispatched, it means your life has moved into a new category of divine responsibility. You may not feel ready. You may still feel like you're in recovery mode from what you just came out of. But heaven knows. Heaven sees. Heaven waits for the moment when your spirit matures enough under pressure to carry weight in the kingdom. That's what this has been about. Your trials weren't wasted. They were woven into a larger prophetic design. You cried, yes, but heaven listened. You broke, yes, but only in places where God needed to rebuild you differently. You were tested, yes, but that testing summoned angels. That fire you walked through made a sound in the heavenlies that demanded reinforcement. Michael was not sent because you were weak. He was sent because you passed the test. This revelation is for the spiritually sensitive, for the ones who didn't quit even when they had every right to, for the ones who kept praying even when their mouth was dry and their hope was faint. You didn't just endure, you qualified. And now, The shift has come. Heaven is declaring, you have been promoted in the spirit. You're not just being preserved anymore. You're being positioned for purpose. What once overwhelmed you will now become your weapon. What once scared you will now respond to your command. What once made you cry will now make others healed through your testimony. Michael is not just a defender, he is a witness. His presence is God's way of saying, I saw what they went through. I marked their faithfulness. I've recorded their tears. And those tears, they have bought you ground in the realm of the Spirit. Your name is not just written in the Lamb's book of life. Your name is recorded in the book of the defended. You are one of the chosen. Not because you never struggled, but because you never surrendered to the enemy's lie. Now listen carefully. Divine doors are about to open. New assignments are coming. What felt like wilderness is turning into platform. What was once a valley will become your stronghold of authority. And Michael's presence was a signal that the testing has shifted into territorial release. You are not coming out empty. You are coming out equipped. And the fire you walk through will not smell like smoke on you. It will burn in your eyes as a light for others to see. So prepare. Prepare to walk in spaces you didn't think you deserved. Prepare to receive things you stopped praying for. Prepare to carry authority you didn't even know you were being trained for. This is the season of your revealing. And Michael, he's still near, watching, guarding, and announcing to the spirit realm that you are heaven's investment, and the time of manifestation has begun. Type I receive the promotion in the comments if this speaks to your soul. Blessing code 1919 is now unlocking divine access over your life. Right now, you're standing in the overflow of prophetic truth. This is not just a message. It's a moment of spiritual clarity, crafted and released to prepare hearts for higher realms. If your spirit was stirred, this is your chance to join the mission. When you sow into this work, whether through super thanks, membership, or a gift through PayPal link in the video description, you are sowing into the fire of revelation. You're not funding content, you're fueling the spread of God's living word to thousands needing breakthrough. Like the manna in the wilderness, your giving becomes spiritual provision for someone else's awakening. I feel it in my spirit. Some of you are meant to respond right now. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Your seed isn't a transaction. It's a prophetic act. Release it, and watch what heaven releases back. Now that the veil has lifted and the reason for the warfare has been revealed, it is time. Time to move. Time to rise. Time to activate what was buried under pain, confusion, and delay. This is not just recovery, it's recommissioning. The attacks weren't meant to destroy you. They were meant to provoke your awakening. And now, as the light breaks over your horizon, heaven waits for your response. Not your perfection, not your performance. Yes, your yes. Just your surrender. Just the simple but powerful declaration from your spirit. I am ready. You see, destiny does not fall into your lap. It must be activated. It must be spoken. It must be aligned with. And right now, heaven is leaning close, waiting to hear what your mouth is willing to declare. Your next level won't be determined by your feelings. It will be determined by your obedience. Heaven moves on agreement. And the moment you say yes, the moment your spirit aligns with divine will, Michael moves with renewed instruction. This is your call into action, not busyness but alignment, not striving but surrender. Because now that the defender has cleared the path, you must walk in it. And you don't walk in your own strength. You walk clothed in the fire of what you survived. You walk with the clarity of one who has seen darkness and refused to bow. You walk with the boldness of one who has realized, if Michael was sent to protect me, then what I carry must be more important than I thought. And what you carry is not just for you. It's for your generation. It's for your bloodline. It's for those who will never meet you but will feel the ripple of your yes. So make the declaration. Heaven, I agree. Let it rise from your chest. Let it burn in your bones. Heaven is not looking for perfect people. Heaven is looking for willing ones. And when a willing spirit meets divine assignment, activation occurs. Declare protection daily. Speak truth over your mind. Lay your hands on your chest and say, I am not alone. I am not vulnerable. I am not abandoned. I am under divine command. With each declaration, Michael moves faster. With each act of obedience, your path gets clearer. With each moment of trust, you send signals into the heavens. I will not quit. I will not shrink. I will not lose what I've been chosen to carry. Destiny is not about comfort. It's about commitment. And now that you know who stands beside you, you can't afford to hesitate. That idea you've shelved, dig it back up. That vision you've buried under fear, dusty off. That prayer you stopped praying because you thought it was too late. Pray it again, with fire. Heaven is listening. The spirit realm is watching. Michael is waiting. Reclaim your territory. Spiritually, emotionally, mentally. The enemy took too much while you were in confusion. But now that you see clearly, you must take it back. Take back your confidence. Take back your clarity. Take back your voice. No more drinking. No more self-doubt. You are not fragile. You are fire-forged. And now, the warrior who defended you stands behind you as you step forward. This is your commissioning moment. Your release into new authority. Don't treat it casually. Don't brush this off. There is a holy pressure rising, not to crush you, but to push you into the next level of your purpose. You are not the same. You are activated. You are aligned. You are appointed for this hour. Type ISAYYES in the comments if your spirit is aligning with your next level. Blessing code 7171 is now authorizing your divine advancement. There are some things that happen in silence, too sacred for sound, too holy for explanation. Not every miracle announces itself. Not every breakthrough roars. Some come like whispers in the night. Some arrive wrapped in stillness, unnoticed by the world but thunderously confirmed in the heavens. And right now, whether you see it or not, whether you feel it or not, there is a silent exchange unfolding in the spirit realm, one that bears your name, one that carries your breakthrough, one that involves the hand of Archangel Michael. While you were sleeping, while you were weeping, while you were questioning whether God still sees you, heaven was conducting divine transactions. Your brokenness was not wasted. Your surrender was not ignored. Every time you whispered, God, help me, under your breath, the atmosphere shifted. And while you were unaware, angels were moving. Michael was gathering. The courts of heaven were in session. Your name was spoken in holy chambers. You see, there are moments in life when it seems nothing is changing, but beneath the surface, in realms unseen, something divine is being negotiated. What the enemy tried to steal is being recalculated. What was lost in confusion is being repurchased with grace. And you need to know this. Nothing you gave up in faith is truly gone. Every sacrifice, every prayer, every sleepless night has become currency in the realm of spirit. You didn't just survive. You've been investing in a future that is now being activated. There are records in the spirit that only angels can read, and your name is on one of them. Michael is not just guarding your present. He has been retrieving what was stolen from your past. He's been intercepting what was meant to rob your tomorrow. That feeling you had last night, the warmth that wrapped around your shoulders, the calm that came without reason, the tear that dried before you could wipe it, was not coincidence. It was confirmation. A transaction had just taken place. Heaven was returning what was rightfully yours. Sometimes the transaction comes in peace, other times in release. Sometimes it arrives in the form of someone walking out of your life, and though it hurts, your spirit knows it was a divine subtraction. Other times it comes as strength to do what you couldn't do yesterday. Whatever the form, the exchange is holy, and it happens when your spirit is willing to surrender what's broken in exchange for what heaven has ordained. Do not underestimate what has happened simply because it didn't come with fireworks. Some of the greatest miracles are quiet. They walk in without noise and settle into your life like a gentle presence. That's how Michael moves when the war hath been won but the wounds still ache. He wraps you in the silence of resolution. He stands at the gates of your destiny and ensures that what enters is only what was permitted by the throne. This is your confirmation that the season of loss is ending. Not because you demanded it, but because heaven declared it. You're being repaid, not just with things, but with clarity, with rest, with authority, with restoration. That which slipped through your fingers in a previous season is returning, not the same, but purified, upgraded, transformed. You may not have seen the moment it happened, but you will feel its effects. Watch how your peace deepens. Watch how your thoughts clear. Watch how opportunities that once closed now return. But this time, you are ready. Because Michael has gone ahead of you, heaven has spoken over you, and the silent exchange is now complete. Type "I receive" what was returned in the comments if this silent confirmation speaks to your soul. Blessing code 9292 is now releasing recompense over your life. The scales are shifting. Vitally, relentlessly, righteously. For too long, it felt like injustice was winning, like your obedience was met with resistance, your purity was met with betrayal, your sacrifice met with silence. But hear this now in the authority of heaven. God has rendered judgment, and justice is unfolding. Not delayed, not denied, not postponed to eternity, but now, in the spirit, in your atmosphere, in your life. Because spiritual justice does not always come how the world expects. It does not always shout. It does not always strike with visible force. But it is precise, is perfect, is unshakable. What the enemy hoped would go unnoticed, heaven documented. What was done in secret was seen by the eyes of the Lord, and what was stolen in darkness is now being forced into the light. Not just exposed, reversed. Understand this. Michael does not only defend, he restores balance. He does not only guard the chosen, he enforces divine rulings. And a verdict has been declared over your situation. This is not just deliverance from what was attacking you. This is restoration of what you were owed. It's payback time in the kingdom. Not from vengeance, but from righteous alignment. The dishonor you endured is now being transformed into recognition. The loss you suffered is now becoming overflow. The silence they forced upon you is becoming a trumpet of testimony. Some will wonder why things are suddenly working for you, why favor has returned, why what you touch seems to multiply. They won't understand that heaven recalibrated the scales on your behalf. that Michael stood in the courtroom of the Most High and issued a decree. Enough. Now it turns. What was meant to cripple you has become the platform for your elevation. And what others tried to take, heaven has now multiplied. There is no reversal like a divine reversal. When God restores, He does not return it as it was. He returns it better, ever, purer, stronger. The enemy's strategy wasn't just blocked, it backfired. What he hoped would humiliate you has now become a banner of victory waving over your life. And yes, your name is being cleared, even if they never apologize, even if they never tell the truth. Heaven is your witness, and Michael is your advocate. The truth they tried to bury is rising on its own. Because when justice rolls in, it does not need permission. It doesn't ask for applause. It simply reorders what was broken. The rejection was not the end. It was the beginning of repositioning. The betrayal was not your downfall. It was the unveiling of true loyalty. And every lie spoken, every plot formed, every weapon shaped, it all collapses now under the weight of divine reversal. Not because you fought back, but because you stood in silence and let heaven fight for you. You feel the shift. You sense the return. The tingling in your spirit, that holy assurance rising in your chest. That is justice waking up around you. That is Michael still standing near, watching to ensure that what was decreed by God is fully executed. You will no longer walk under the shadow of what was lost. You will walk under the radiance of what has been restored. They thought they silenced you, but heaven has amplified your name. You were never forgotten. You were preserved for such a time as this. Type "I claim divine justice" in the comments if this speaks to what you've walked through. Blessing code 1010 is now unlocking the judgment of heaven in your favor. Now the message is complete. The signs have been revealed. The mystery has been decoded. The warnings have been declared. And through it all, a single truth remains. Archangel Michael does not appear by chance. He appears by command. He appears when heaven makes a decision that cannot be overturned. He appears when God whispers, "This one must be preserved. This one must be shielded. This one must not fall now." And if you felt that unseen presence, if you sensed a strength that didn't come from within, then you already know. He has been with you. From the moment your spirit was shaken, but did not break, from the moment your heart wanted to give up, but peace washed over you, from the moment chaos surrounded you, but your feet stood still, Michael was already moving. You didn't see the battles he fought. You didn't witness the swords that clashed in the spirit. But the fact that you are still here, alive, alert, and awakening, is proof that he won. So now, breathe. Not in fear, but in divine confidence. You are not exposed. You are not vulnerable. You are not forgotten. You are sealed in light, shielded by the fire of heaven's warrior. Let this truth settle deep into your bones. You are known by name in the courts of heaven. You are counted. You are covered. You are called. Walk differently now. Speak differently. Pray with authority. Move with purpose. Do not shrink. Do not second guess. Do not return to the old patterns of survival, because you have stepped into a new dimension of spiritual authority. You've crossed the line from defended to deployed. You've moved from chaos to clarity, from fear to fire, from hiding to holy boldness. This was not just a word of encouragement. This was your commissioning. This was the divine reminder of who stands beside you. Not just angels, but the chief warrior of heaven. And where he walks, no enemy stands. Where he moves, the plans of darkness collapse. So I bless you now. with clarity, with peace, with holy fire. May the Spirit of God burn in your steps. May the words from your mouth carry weight. May your atmosphere be guarded with light, and your mind be wrapped in the peace that surpasses understanding. You are not just covered, you are surrounded. You are not just protected, you are positioned. And you are not just chosen, you are sent. Now rise. Not slowly, not cautiously, but with confidence. The defender walks beside you. Type "I am sent" in the comments if you receive this final blessing. Blessing code 2020 now surrounds your life, your calling, and your future. If this message reached into the depths of your spirit, then you already know. This is more than content. This is kingdom commissioning. And if God used this word to awaken, confirm, or protect something inside you, then you have an opportunity now to respond in faith. When you sow into this mission, whether through a super thanks, YouTube membership, or a direct seed via PayPal link in the description, you're not giving to a screen. You're joining the divine assignment of awakening spiritual warriors across the world. Your gift becomes a spark in the dark, a trumpet in silence, a shield for another soul who needs to know Michael is near. This is holy ground. Move as the Spirit leads. Don't wait. Declare your alignment through action. This is more than support. It's a prophetic response.